William Strachey III, Esquire, born 1572, in Saffron Walden, in Essex, England. He was the son of William Strachey and Mary Cook. He was educated at Emmanuel College in Cambridge. It's 1595. William marries Frances Forster. Together, they would have two sons, William and Edmund. It's 1605. William Strachey has joined Gray's Inn, officially joining the ranks of a gentleman scholar. Around this time, having an interest in plays and the theater, William and his wife purchased partnership in the Blackfriars Theatre, which included a troupe of actors who performed in a converted room in the former Blackfriars Monastery. He would befriend numerous poets and playwrights, including John Donne, who was also an ancestor on another branch of our family tree. It's ironic to have met other ancestors, especially considering how generations later they would form together, mixing blood with a branch reaching out to become the Jones. It's 1606. In December, 104 settlers sail from London with company instructions to build a secure settlement in the Americas, find gold, and seek a water route to the Pacific. The traditional telling of early Jamestown history portrayed these pioneers as ill-suited for the task. On May 14, 1607, the English settlers arrived under the authority of the Virginian Company of London, chartered by King James I, thus establishing the first permanent English settlement in North America. It's 1609. After working for a few years as secretary to the English Levant Company and to the English ambassador in Turkey, Strachey bought 2 shares in the Virginia Company and set sail from England to the New World aboard the ship named Sea Venture. The ship carried 500 to 600 people. With the West Indies firmly in the grip of the Spanish Empire, the English fleet turned northwards. Days away from Jamestown, on July 24th, the fleet ran into a strong storm, likely a hurricane, and the ships were separated. One of them went down with all aboard lost to the sea. The Sea Venture, however, fought the storm for 3 days. Comparably sized ships had survived such weather, but Sea Venture had a critical flaw in her newness. Her timbers had not yet set. The caulking was forced from between them, and the ship began to leak rapidly. This meant everyone on board struggled to bail water, including the well-off passengers. While lost at sea and slowly sinking, hauling buckets of water out at a time, exhaustion eventually sunk in. On the morning of July 25th, the water in the hold had risen to 9 feet. The captain purposely drove the ship into the reefs of Discovery Bay, in what later would prove to be eastern Bermuda. This allowed 150 people on board and 1 dog to be landed safely ashore. The survivors included William Strachey amongst them, as well as Stephen Hopkins of the Mayflower, and also of another branch in our family tree. While slowly sinking, and before they stranded themselves, William noted in his book chronicling the entire affair how he felt about the experience. In these pages he lists witnessing the weather phenomenon of St. Elmo's fire, which is when plasma emit from the mast, but at the time it may have been considered more supernatural than scientific, often considered a good omen. The ship's survivors clambered ashore Bermuda before it was a colony. In his book, he describes their struggle to survive and the exotic plant life, such as the discovery of cocoa. It wouldn't be until 9 months later that their castaway vacation would end. They would build a ship from the salvaged parts of the crashed Sea Venture and make way for Jamestown, where they eventually arrived, all of which is documented by William Strachey in a published account. While it would not be published until after his death, it is known to have been passed around beforehand, likely serving as a source of inspiration for William Shakespeare's The Tempest. Which, by the way, on another branch of our family tree, we find William Shakespeare's grandfather. Upon arriving in Jamestown, Strachey was horrified by the living conditions and wrote about it in his controversial text, which would serve as one of the best first-hand accounts of the failed colony, and also serve as one of 2 known sources of the native Powhatan language. It's 1621. Living a fascinating yet challenging life, William dies in poverty at the age of 49, failing to have published his work. Hopefully, knowing how influential and important his work became brings his soul some peace. He left the following sad verse. Hark, 'twas the trump of death that blew. My hour has come, false world, adieu. Thy pleasures have betrayed me so, that I to death untimely go.